All right, gonna try something new. This is WERA Cycle Jam 2025 at Raod Atlanta, May 25th, and this is the lightweight twins super stock race. I'm back here in the novice. These are experts ahead of me. This is my first full year of racing, so I'm racing with the novices right now, and let's get started. All right off the bat, I get a pretty good jump. Going into turn one, I think that's John McDonald goes around the outside. He's a real fast guy. And here comes Maxon as well, also very fast. So going into turn two here, there goes Dominic. He's also on an SV. Going into turn two, it's really important to try to get as far in that line as you can, because as you can see, everyone gets pretty single file going down through the S's for the most part. And so if you got the pace and you can get yourself down ahead of everyone, you can start to pull a pretty good gap, starting right here, which is going into turn six. So this is the first bigger straightaway on the track, moderate braking zone. Right here, I start to catch up on Dan Jasper, and I check up a little bit, and here comes Brandon Chisholm around the outside. Dan throws his hand up here. I checked in with him later, and he had a bent shift linkage, or a broken shift linkage. So that was the end of his race, unfortunately for him. So I'm on a 2005 SV650 that I built for my street bike. I've never touched the motor. It's pretty down on horsepower, I think. Most of the people in this race are on the newer Aprilia RS660s, so they've definitely got an advantage as far as horsepower goes, but my bike handles really well, and I'm happy with it. So I feel really good when it gets twisty. Coming down into the last turn here, this is another one it's important to get a good drive out of. It's definitely an exit corner. You want to concentrate on getting a drive because you've got a straight right here where you'll pick up a good amount of speed, and you can just see these guys on the bike in front of me just kind of walking me. I'm getting at a better line in turn two. It's kind of tough coming up over the hill blind. I need a better braking marker. I feel like I overslow it all the time going into two. And I got better at it as the weekend progressed, but still kind of rough. So this corner, turn 7, is really important. Again, it's a great exit corner. You got to get a really good drive. You can make up a big difference in time by getting a poor drive or getting a good drive, even on bikes that have quite a bit different horsepower than you. So that is kind of the one spot on this track I'm always thinking about trying to get the best line I possibly can. This is deceptively steep coming up right here. If you've never been to Raod Atlanta, coming down this hill here, you're pretty hard on the brakes, and that's where you'll start to feel the back end of your bike pick up and move around a good bit if you're doing it right. Yeah, the camera doesn't do it justice, but it is steep. So I think it's right about here that I've been watching Brandon for the last 2 laps or so and realizing that I'm kind of hanging with him, which is exciting. A lot of times in some of these races with smaller grids, you can end up kind of racing your own race, People get out ahead of you, you get out ahead of other people, and it's pretty exciting to actually be able to get up with someone and start racing them. So I'm pretty keen to catch him right now, mostly just to have a little bit of fun. So we'll see how that goes. This hill right here coming over, it's technically turn 9. It just kind of bends over here, but you're full throttle. Man, Moto America bikes, like the super bikes, will be going 190 miles an hour, leaned over at 40-something degrees coming through there. It's pretty insane. My bike's only getting up into the 120s, maybe about 130, and it still feels pretty fast coming over that crest. Brandon does a good job of getting a drive out of this turn right here. My line was pretty alright too, but I've kind of, as I follow him, I watch and notice that's one of his stronger corners right there. And who knows, it might come back to haunt me. So here I realize he's kind of swooping out way to the side here and swooping back, which is a little less than ideal. You want to kind of straighten up through there as much as possible, just so you can be hard on the brakes, closer to straight up and down, and it's a little bit shorter distance wise. So that's where I start to catch him here. I don't get the best drive out of 5 here, but it's not bad. It rained the night before, and you can see it's pretty overcast, so there's definitely a few wet spots on the track. I mean, it's mostly dry, but when it's wet like that, I don't like to go out near the paint. So you'll see me being a little bit conservative, especially in turn 5, trying not to get anywhere near those rumbles there, and any kind of lean when adding throttle. So yeah, here I'm trying to catch Brandon. In his draft a little bit. The camera is deceptive. I'm a few bike lengths away from him, and I get fairly close right here. Close enough I'm thinking about going around the inside on the brakes. So I go to the inside of the track here. I realize I'm not going to get him on the brakes. I kind of drift back outside, but that really compromises my line here through 10A and B. So you can see he kind of starts to get a little bit of a pull on me there. Same thing here in 12. You know, you want to start far to the outside of the track and go inside, especially for this corner. So again, he does a good job here, and I'm sniffing up the inside, so I lose a little bit of time, and there he goes. So turn 1 here, he goes way to the outside of the track, and I like to stay inside across the blend line right about there. Again, he's kind of swooping here a little bit, and I catch up. There's a lot of lines through turn 1. If you watch a Moto America race, I mean, these guys are really fast, and you'll see some going a little bit more outside, some going a little bit more inside. That's kind of one of the ones, it's a personal preference a lot of the time. So again, I'm trying to stay off the paint there on the outside of 5. And sniffing up the inside, I realize it's not going to happen. But we've got a back marker right there that we're coming up on. And unfortunately for Brandon, the timing's not too great. So I'm able to stay tight and get a good drive. He has to go out wide. And this is where you can see what a difference it makes. I mean, his bike has quite a bit more horsepower on mine, but unfortunately he was pushed offline a little bit, and here I go, right past him in the draft. Exciting. Sneak over to the right as much as you can. You want to close that door slowly. Down into 10. So at this point, I look around, I see, I think it's Dominic way up ahead of me there. I'm not going to catch him, but I really want to beat Brandon, so I'm just going to try to run my best pace. There's the white flag, so this is the last lap. So I I know Brandon was filming this too. I'll be curious to see his film, mostly because, you know, as you start racing against somebody and racing more people, you start watching what they do and they're watching what you do, and you kind of learn from each other. So I could tell he was kind of on me here. I could just, you know, constantly hear him in the back there a little bit, which means he probably followed me through a little bit straighter of a line there, which is great. Brandon, if you've got that footage out there, send it to me. I want to see. All right, through 6, and last time onto the back straight. I want to do really good, so I come in pretty close, and I get a pretty good drive out, all the way to the outside of the track, and full throttle. Going down in a 10 for the last time. Stay way out. Yep. And I'm pretty happy with the line through there. And here's where I make a little mistake. I can hear him right on me, so I decide I'm going to go a little defensive, and I move inside a little early here, trying to close the door. And what that does is it really sacrifices my drive, so you can see I slow down a lot there. And right as I do, he's on my ass and he catches me. So good ride to him. That was a lot of fun. I hope you guys got something out of this video. I definitely did. And I'll see you for the next one.
Yo! That was a good race.
That was fucking cool,
That was
man.
awesome, man.
Hell yeah.